Hello guys, this is Dipak Talaviya. Throughout this lesson 2, we will going to learn ASP.NET MVC CRUD operation. Okay, I just set up Visual Studio 2017 and let's start on this. Okay, basically this tutorial is divided into two parts, one for Visual Studio configuration and second one for SQL Server database configuration. So without wasting of time, let's start and go through with the first step. Let's create MVC project. File, new project. Okay, I will store this project on this path and give this application name as a web application CRUD. Select ASP.NET web application. Click on OK button. Select MVC. Okay. Okay. Our first project for a web application CRUD. All the structure is ready now. All the controllers, views, scripts added. Okay, now just clean this solution and build the solution to get proper refresh for this project. So as we going throughout our steps, our first steps is easily done. Let's add model and its property. On the model folders, right click on that and add and click on class. Let's create model for employee. Okay, model is created and add its property. Let's add some property on this. ID, first name, last name, and address. Okay, save. Okay, this model and its property has been added. Now this ID property we will set as a primary key, and this will show up in a database when we will go through database. We will see this ID property will be set as a primary key. So we'll use key attribute over here and adds its library system using system component model data annotations. Okay, now our model and its property is ready. Remember one thing, whenever we add a new model, every time what we have to do, clean solution and build the solution. Okay, close it. Yes, our second step is also done. Now based on this model what we have added is employee. We will going to add controller on this. Let's add new controller. Right click on controller, add controller. This is what MVC5 controller empty. This will create empty controller class. In this we will not get any kind of view using this controller template, and using this MVC controller with a view using entity framework. We will go through it. What they describe over here is an MVC controller with action and razor view to create, read, update, delete our CRUD operation and list entity from entity framework data context. Let's add this. Now once we added our model as an employee and clean and build solution, we will get over here as an employee that selects data context class. We need to set up this only once. When we after this, when we if we want to add a new model, then every time we don't need to set up this data context class. Just click add, and we will keep it as it is, web application CRUD context. Okay, select layout, shared layout, and click on OK, then add. This will add all the views, create, read, update, delete, action method in the controllers as well as in a view folders. First time it will take some time to initially. Okay, it's ready. Now what it's done, employee controller, and based on this controller it's create view inside the folder employees and all create, delete, details, edit and index CS HTML views. Okay, this is done perfectly. What we have done right now, just tap and let's run application. To complete this, our part 1 for Visual Studio configuration. Okay, let's run it. Okay, it's run successfully. Let's access our controllers and its index. What our controller name is over here, employees controller. We need to use only employees keyword to access all these employees controller action method. Employees index method and hits enter. Okay, it shows up uh, employees controller index view. Okay, this is index method of employee controller. Let's add some record on this. First name Dipak, last name Talaviya, India. Create. Okay, ABC XYZ test address. Create it will create views. Like when we click on edit link, it will call edit views, and we can save this. India test, save. It will save. Here we can see the details on the base of a details view. Back to the list, as well as we can delete this particular record. Let's go to the database, what it's done on that side. Stop it now. Okay, it's create connection string by default when we add web application CRUD context and give it local DB as a MS SQL local DB, and use catalog as a web application CRUD context. Let's let's go into this data source. What's it done on the database side? DB context for 602561 602561. It's create automatically employee tables and all its column. What we have selected ID, which is here in a model property. Key id will be our key, primary key. It's automatically set up id field id column as a primary key. First name, last name, and address. Okay, it's our records. Okay, it's all done for part 1, that is Visual Studio configuration. Let's go through part 2, SQL Server database configuration. This is already we have looks up for existing database, like all this thing. So this is already done. Now what we have to do is create a new database and configure this uh, project to that newly created database. Let's create a new database. I create my new database in this server, Dipak PC SQL Express, and connect. Okay, there is not any database in this. I'm going to add a new database. For now, I'm giving its database name as employee DB. Employee DB, and okay. Okay, fresh database for employee DB is created. There is not any tables and all this other thing is added by default. Okay, this is done. Now set up our newly created database catalog and its server name to our web config file. Close it. We will comment this connection string and set up our newly created database string. Okay, let's set up connection string based on our new database. What is connection string and data source name is Go through our database server name and property, select this and setup over here is save initial catalog. Here our database name will be setup. Integrated security will be true, and this is not need to set up right now. Okay, this is what we set up our configuration based on what we have created new database to link up this project. Just clean and build the solution, and we will going to run out this application. There is not any tables based on our model. Once we run this application, what we have model employee, and based on this context it will connect to that connection string, and models property it will create in our new database employee as a new table and set up all this property when we successfully run out this project first time. Okay, let's go to our notes. This is done. Set up Web.config and based on a new database. Now let's run application. Okay, it's run successfully with our newly connected database string employees. This is our controller name and index. If we not write index over here, it will take default index as a action method by default. Okay, it means that our newly created database is connected successfully, and now we will going to look up that database. It will add that employee tables and its fields. Okay, this is we have to mark up this also. Go to database employee DB and just refresh. There is not right now. I'm going to refresh it out. Okay, see, this is what employee table is added and its property is also added. This is what our new database is connected to our project. So this is done. Add employee menu and just run the application. Shared layout. Let's add one menu over here. So no need to write out there. Employee index employee. This is controller name, this is controller action method name, and this is what we have seen on the web page. Let's run it out. Okay, let's click on this create records. India create. Let's check up on database side. Okay, it's working fine. Okay, I'm done with my side. Now it's your turn to finally create some practical on this, and I no need to say anything about this. If you like this video tutorial and want to get notification email for upcoming tutorials, then only subscribe or share to this channel. Thank you. Have a great day.